It has been their biggest problem the last 10 or 15 years of a franchise. They got rid of Bobrovsky. I mean, it's been on and on and on with a debacle between the pipes for this franchise. And yet finally, you think it's fixed, and the kid has really struggled.
Carter Hart, time to send him to the American Hockey League. Get him out for a week or two, get some games and practices under his belt. If it's as bad as we think it is in that room, get him out, Mac.
Well, that's a consideration. I mean, I guess the question is, there's another way to do it. You just pull him out of the lineup and get him working with the goalie coach for, 4 or 5 days and try to find his game. I'm sure they've been working nonstop with him. But to send him to the minors, I'm not convinced that's the way to go. But maybe they just let Elliott play some games. But I mean, has he been any good? That's the other question. How good has he been? I mean, but it's not just goaltending. It's soft play by the blue line. It's, come on. Niskanen was a solid guy, but come on. He can't be the difference of a 9-0, 8-3 game, especially when the first 6 weeks of the season they played pretty good hockey. There's something going on with this team, as you said, besides X and O's. It's a dressing room. It's a dressing room issue. It's a chemistry issue. It's young against old. It's coaches. It's something going on that we are not. Well, you're hearing about it.
Which makes it. Mac, their best prized possession is Carter Hart right now. Get him out of this environment. Send him to the minors for 5 games. I only say that because I remember Mike Richter with the New York Rangers. He probably had about 100 starts, much like Carter Hart has. And then they ended up sending him to Binghamton for 5 games when he was having some issues. And the following year, I think he won the Stanley Cup, Mac. And I'm not suggesting that the Flyers will next year, but it could get him just to clear his head a little bit, get some practices in. They're not playing that many games. Just protect your most important asset in Carter Hart.
And you know what? He is by far their most important asset. It's not even close. They have to if this guy doesn't become the star that he was perceived, and let's not forget, Ron Hextall kept him in the minors, kept him in junior, because he wanted him to be a 100% ready to be the next great Flyer goalie, which they haven't had in 30 years. How long since they had a goaltender there? We all hear about Pelle Lindbergh as the last great goalie after Bernie Perron. It's been years and years and years where they've had a number one bona fide star in goal. And they can't let this flop. As you said, whatever is best for him, whether it's working with the goalie coach and get him out of the net, get him to the minors, whatever the case may be, they've got to do something, because
so you are buying my theory that it's a legitimate option for them.
It is a legitimate option for them. There's no doubt about that. And because it has been their biggest problem the last 10 or 15 years of a franchise. They got rid of Bobrovsky. I mean, it's been on and on and on with a debacle between the pipes for this franchise. And yet finally, you think it's fixed, and the kid has really struggled. I mean, I looked 5-on-5, his save percentage is in the 800s. That's not penalty killing. That's 5-on-5. His save percentage is low 800s.
It's
crazy.
Really, it's Mac, you don't want it to damage this guy's psyche.
You can't afford to.
For a long time here.
You cannot afford to.
Is this
Chuck has got to figure, I mean, Chuck Fletcher's been around a long time. I mean, he's got to step back and say, okay, and I'm sure Chuck is. Like, Chuck would be pulling his hair out right now over this. Vigneault, an experienced coach, has been through this. mean, between this mature management group, surely to God they can figure this out and get back in this race.